From trash to luxury, there are stories that begin with privilege. Stories born from comfort, from fortune, from opportunity. But this is not one of those stories. This is the story of a boy who started with nothing. Nothing but scraps. Nothing but survival. Nothing but a dream that seemed ridiculous to everyone around him. Yet, somehow, through grit, courage, pain, and resilience, he transformed a life surrounded by trashinto, one of unimaginable luxury. This is the story of Leonardo Moretti, and the journey that took him from trash to luxury. Leonardo grew up in a place most people avoided, a forgotten neighborhood on the outskirts of a huge city. A place where the houses leaned in every direction, where the electricity flickered like a dying candle, and where the smell of garbage floated permanently in the air. The locals called it the pit, because once you fell in, you never climbed out, at least, that's what they believed. Leonardo's home was a small metal shack, with holes in the roof and a single mattress on the floor. Rain dripped through the ceiling every storm. Rats ran under the bed at night. And hunger was a familiar visitor. His mother, Helena, worked sorting trash at the municipal landfill. Every morning she woke up before sunrise, tied her hair with a torn elastic band, and kissed him on the forehead. "Leo," she always whispered, "you were born for more than this." He didn't believe her, not yet, but those words would follow him for the rest of his life. When Leonardo was 9, he began helping his mother at the landfill. It wasn't work, it was desperation. The landfill was an ocean of broken things. Plastic bottles, rusted metal, torn clothes, abandoned dreams. Leonardo searched through trash for anything recyclable. He cut his hands often, stepped on glass, more times than he could count. The sun burned his skin, and the stench clung to his clothes. Sometimes he found small treasures, a functional lighter, a cracked mirror, a forgotten toy with one missing wheel. But one day, he found something different. A book. Its cover was torn, its pages wrinkled, but the title was still readable. The Art of Becoming. He didn't understand the words at first, but inside that book was a sentence that struck him like lightning. Luxury is not about money, it is about elevation. For the first time, he felt something awakening inside him, a whisper telling him he didn't belong among the trash. He belonged somewhere higher. As he grew older, Leonardo started reading every book he found in the trash. School became his sanctuary. Knowledge became his rebellion. He stopped seeing the landfill as his prison, and started seeing it as temporary. When he turned 14, he told his classmates, "I will not live in the pit forever. One day, I will work in a place filled with glass walls and marble floors." They laughed. Hard. Leo, you smell like garbage, one boy mocked. You sort trash. You don't rise, you sink. Others joined in. You luxury. Impossible. The words hit him, but the sentence from that book hit harder. Luxury is elevation. So he kept dreaming. Quietly, silently, relentlessly. At 16, Leonardo met someone who would change everything. His name was Mr. Alvarez, an elderly man who supervised the recycling center. He had sharp eyes, silver hair, and a calm confidence. One day, he found Leonardo studying a broken calculator. "What do you see in that trash?" Alvarez asked. Leo shrugged. "Possibility." That word made the old man smile. From that day forward, Alvarez began teaching him how machines worked, how materials were priced, how industries functioned, how businesses lived or died. Leonardo absorbed every word. "You learn fast," Alvarez told him one night. "And you think differently." Nobody had ever said that to him before, not with conviction. "What do you want, Leo?" He hesitated, then spoke the truth. "I want to create something big. Something that lifts people like me." Alvarez looked at him carefully. "Then stop calling yourself trash." For the first time in his life, Leonardo believed he might actually rise. By 18, Leonardo saw opportunity where others saw waste. He realized that many companies threw away materials that could still be used. He started collecting metal scraps from the landfill, cleaning them, sorting them, and selling them in small bundles. It was exhausting. He carried heavy bags across the slum, traveled long distances on foot, and faced constant rejection. Some buyers refused to talk to him because of his clothes. Others paid him less because they saw him as just a landfill kid. But Leonardo wasn't fragile anymore. He prepared his materials well, negotiated. He persisted. And eventually, a small construction company gave him a chance. They bought everything he had. It wasn't much money, but it was validation. It was proof that his dreams were not delusions. Success didn't come easy. In fact, it almost destroyed him before it began. As Leonardo tried expanding his scrap business, his storage shed caught fire. Everything burned: months of collected materials, his savings, his tools, and the few clothes he had bought. People in the pit whispered, "See, life showed him his place. He should have stayed with his trash. Dreams don't belong to people like us." For 2 days, Leonardo didn't speak. He sat in the ashes, staring at the ruin of his efforts. But then he remembered his mother's words, "You were born for more than this." And Alvarez's teaching, "Failure is part of elevation." He got up, wiped tears from his face, and started again from zero. This time, Leonardo didn't copy others. He innovated. He created a small program teaching people in his slum how to separate high-quality materials from low-quality ones. He taught them cleaning techniques, organization, and pricing. He paid them fairly. They respected him. They worked hard. Soon, Leonardo had a reliable system. People collected, he refined, he sold. Word spread. Companies saw his consistency. More buyers came. Eventually, he saved enough money to rent a small warehouse outside the pit. For the first time in his life, he stepped into a workplace that wasn't rotten or abandoned. "This," he whispered, "is the beginning." The warehouse expanded. He added machines for compacting metal and processing plastics. He hired supervisors, accountants, drivers. He built relationships with big corporations. He understood supply chains, pricing dynamics, and environmental demands. And then came the breakthrough. Multi-million-dollar companies signed a long-term contract with him for recycled aluminum. 20-9. The landfill boy had become the owner of one of the fastest-growing recycling companies in the region. He moved his mother to a real home, clean, bright, safe. He walked into glass buildings, negotiated in boardrooms, wore tailored suits, yet he never forgot the smell of that landfill. The cuts on his hands, the burning shack, the laughter of those who doubted him. Now, he was the one smiling, not out of revenge, but out of victory. Years later, Leonardo returned to the pit, the same place that tried to crush him. But he didn't come with pity. He came with opportunity. He built a training center, offering education and jobs to young people who grew up like he did. He gave them what he had once lacked: guidance, dignity, belief. And when a young boy approached him, asking, "Sir, can someone like me ever become someone like you?" Leonardo knelt down, looked him in the eyes, and said, "You already are. You just don't see it yet." Leonardo Moretti's story became known around the world. A story of transformation, resilience, and courage. A story of someone who rose not by stepping on others but by lifting them. He lived in luxury now, surrounded by beauty, comfort, and success. But his greatest victory was that none of it changed his heart. He knew where he came from, and he knew that true luxury was never about gold, or cars, or mansions. It was about elevation, rising from what tried to bury you, about becoming more than the world expected. He started in trash. He ended in luxury. And he became proof that your origin is not your destiny, only your beginning.